I even saw, this was like an hour and a half ago, I think Uncle Looney, one of our very, very faithful listeners on YouTube, was listening to us talk about last night's game and my frustration sensation, my confusion as to why the Warriors aren't better at home. And he said, why does Mark never have this energy for the 49ers? Cha-ching! Thank you, Grandy. And I'm like, what energy? We had plenty of this energy when the 49ers lost 3 in a row, and you're left scratching your head. Nothing said today, nothing said then is like, let's rip the team. I don't quite frankly understand that. That idea is an odd idea to me. You rip your team when they lose? What team doesn't lose? That's weird. That's weird. But to me,
the 72 Dolphins is the answer.
It's good answer.
Thank you. It's been 50 years.
Yeah, like every single team loses. You know, the 73-9 Warriors 9 times came in the next day and were like, what the hell was that? Well, and then they didn't even win the championship. Then you could talk about it. You know, how was this kind of all miscast or whatever? I'm not knocked off kilter by last night at all. It's disappointing. I didn't see it coming, and I find portions of what happened last night head-scratching. I really do. This Warrior team is in my opinion, is too talented to have this kind of a record at home. That has nothing to do with whether or not the Bulls played well or if the Bulls are viable or any of these things. I am, and I think everybody is, if you look at lines and you do, and I don't play very much at all. I got a few $100s in a little thingamabob, and I forget about it for 2 weeks, and then I come back and I'm like, oh, and I hit a 3-pick parlay the other night, and so I'm strutting around like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Major.
I'm like, your boy knows the NBA. I don't know if you know, but your boy knows. And you walk in it, but if you do that, you look at situations. That's all you're doing. You're looking for spots. Is this a good spot? You talk about this a lot. A scheduled loss. It's like Boston on Sunday last week, right? What's the situation? I thought last night, less so than the night before, believe it or not, less so. But last night was a spot that the Warriors should have won. And then you come out and you're up by double digits in the first quarter. And I'm like, all right, this looks exactly like I thought it would. I don't think they'll blow them off the floor. But this is a handle your business night. And then they went into the second quarter, gave up 38 points, got wobbly in the second half, didn't handle business. And that surprised me. And maybe it shouldn't, because the Warriors are consistently inconsistent.
Right. I wasn't that surprised with the fact that they had a 10-point lead and that Chicago came back. I was a little surprised that Chicago then took over the game and they had a double-digit lead, but you knew the Warriors would come back and make a run. And then in the fourth quarter, the Warriors got the lead back. And I think that there wound up being 16 lead changes in that game, or maybe it was 16 ties and 14 lead changes, whatever the number was. It was back and forth, and it was two teams that are both in about the same spot in their season, 62 games in, and Chicago's been up and down, and currently they're up, and the Warriors we thought were up, and they have been over the last 20, but that was one that was a little bit of a buzzkill, where you're all riding high after Milwaukee. You were giddy and goofy and giggly yesterday, and we're all looking at the Chicago game like, all right, you got by the tough one, 3-0 at home. And we're taking it game by game, so we weren't going to look at the San Antonio back-to-back and think about what that would mean for a win streak and all the rest of it, and all eyes on Dallas next Wednesday as the next big game. But the Warriors came out, and they played, they played all right. They played fine. They didn't play badly. They didn't shoot it well.
Yeah.
They didn't throw it around. They didn't foul too much. They didn't shoot it well. And Chicago played better than they did.
Yeah, I mean, only 11 turnovers. I'll give you that. Draymond had 4. Draymond had 4 turnovers last night. But when you say they didn't play badly, I don't know, man. Like,
it's a B game.
Well, but I look at you're right from the standpoint of what we said earlier, which is when you say someone played poorly, you usually mean there's something wrong with the mental side of the way they played. The physical side is the physical side. However, if we're going to take it to the physical side, I don't know, man. They shot 26% from three.
Yeah.
That's playing bad.
It's shooting it badly. Yeah.
Well, that's a big part of the game.
A big part of their game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I look at when they play badly, for me, it's when you have a lot of those live ball, reckless turnovers that lead to easy buckets. They didn't have a lot of those. You foul aggressively and egregiously. You didn't have a lot of that. And it overall looks either sloppy or listless. They looked engaged.
No, they looked
played
engaged.
hard.
I'll grant you that.
They didn't hit their shots, and then you got down to clutch time, and unfortunately, you didn't have the best player in franchise history available.
Yeah.
And still you had chances to win it. So I look at that game, and if I was to grade just the Warriors' effort and performance, it's a B. Might be a B minus, and a lot of times that's good enough to win. But to your overarching question that you just haven't been able to find an answer to, why is that not good enough for them to win at home?
Well, I come out of last night and quite frankly this week, which has just been 2 home games. I come out of it so far with a couple of main questions. And yes, one of them is, why are the Warriors not a more effective team at home? And then currently, as we've been discussing all year long, I've never watched an NBA season where there's more talk about minutes and rotation. That's always a subject. It is rarely the subject. And I would argue this particular team, it has become not just the subject, it's like whack you over the head, constant movement, and you can either criticize Steve Kerr for that, too much poking around, or have sympathy for him because he has to keep trying things because what was happening earlier doesn't work. Add in injuries, add in infusion of young players, trying to kind of find that line. I think this has been his hardest year to coach. So a lot of people, these damn rotations. What's he doing with the minutes? I've said it 100 times. I don't know what you all think you're supposed to do. You waltz around here like you got the damn answer. What's Steve doing with these minutes? What's the answer? So fire away. We'll take your calls on it until Steve comes on. We can even share it with him. You know, Joe from San Jose says, you know what I mean? Like, what's the minutes answer? What is it? Because the Warriors are consistently inconsistent, and that's not just as a team. That's based on individuals as well. So to me, front of the line is Andrew Wiggins. You're starting him. You're not staying with him. What do you see? What is the philosophical play there? We get it. He's going with 10 right now. Does he want to limit that even more? Is Moody potentially going to get into the starting lineup? I mean, now, do you go down to 9 now for a couple games because there's no Steph? Or do you welcome another player back into the fold? Does Lester Quinones now play more minutes? Probably. Chris Paul can't play them all. So this is going to be a constantly moving target. I just try to go for the ones that stand out as like, that stands out off the page. Andrew Wiggins keeps starting and then getting no more than 15 minutes.
Yes.
That's an oddity.
For sure.
So that's where we'll go.
Absolutely. And I will ask him about moving forward without Steph, and we don't know how long that will be. And God forbid we ask him to project what that will be like. And he won't even admit that Steph's going to be out for Saturday's game for tomorrow because
he might.
He might, but he doesn't usually do that. We're going to ask him, but we're going to have to check with Rick and training staff and see where Steph's at. And
he might say that he's going to miss tomorrow. I don't know.
No, he might. You're right.
You want to bet a pizza on?
No, I'm good, Coach. I owe you one. I'm going to pay off the other bet, and then you're going to be on the hook for what you owe me.
Yes.
And that's how this is going to go.
Right, but mine is more intricate and complex, so I need more time.
Absolutely.
I can't just make a phone call and somebody shows up with sugar and it's over.
I'm going to get a box of doughs. I wanted to space out the pizza that I owed and the donuts that I owe. I didn't want to go bang in the same week. So
just give me a little credit
for sure.
The bet that I offered you is a hell of a lot harder to pay off than picking up the phone and giving a credit card number.
And it involves my lovely wife's supper signing off on somebody else raising her beloved daughter.
Oh, she doesn't know about this? Well, I'm not raising her
for however many hours. You damn right you are.
No, I'm
You're
not.
not just sitting there putting on Coco Melon.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Ew.
Oh, but no, not Coco Melon. We're going to put on like Die Hard or something fun. Not a bunch of Coco Melon.
Some slasher film.
Yeah, a little Terminator. Termination sensation. It's going to be great.
That's a buck. You're officially
Coco
fired
Melon.
as babysitter.
Listen to you.
She likes the Golf Channel. That's her new favorite, and I've kind of brainwashed her. But I am going to ask Steve about if Steph is out, when Steph is out, how do we maybe shuffle the starting lineup to fit Chris Paul, who's going to be coming into the starting lineup?